Vaibhav.
Good morning, everyone. Today in Meet the Expert, we present you RSCSSB's own professor and industry mentor, Professor Avinash Kumar Tandon. From being a gold medalist in graduation to having expertise in project management, contract management, quality and safety management, backed by 4 decades of experience, Mr. Tandon has been an inspiration to many. Today, we could think of no one better to speak on building project management. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Vaibhav. Good morning, everyone. I hope all of you are safe and healthy at your place. Let us obey all directions of the center and state government to protect ourselves from COVID-19. I'm starting my presentation. It is a building project management and experience. Practically, it was the last project, one of the project I will say, which I have dealt while my service with Engineers India Limited, a premier engineering and project management consultancy organization. This is just a brief about me, though I'm thankful to Webber. He has already, most of the things he has covered, but I have credit to me to build a highest, tallest building in Delhi on Jalpat. That was the tallest building at that time in 1982 onwards. And so many green buildings, campus, city developments in India and abroad, uh, quality and technical audit of highways, estate management, operation and maintenance of buildings, and mega projects in fertilizer, oil and gas, cross-country pipelines, petrochemicals in India and abroad. And I have a 5 years in experience in academics with SPA Delhi, and for the last 4 years I'm with RICS Noida. My presentation will cover the common type of buildings, common type of contracts for execution of those buildings, and my experience on a building project management, and then question answers. Some question answers I have of my own, I have developed from there, and I will prefer your question answers after that one. Let us try to understand what are the different type of buildings we all have been conversant with. It may be a individual, it may be a, it may be an individual house or villas. It may be mass group housing, ground plus three, mass housing, multi-story residential, commercial, institutional like our campus, MET campus. There are associated buildings with the projects like metro stations, control rooms, substations, toll plazas on highways, assembly buildings for the worshipping, temples, churches, etc., industrial buildings, and storage buildings. Variety of buildings, even more are there, but commonly we deal with these kind of buildings in our day-to-day life. And the different type of contracts we deal with them are the item rate contracts are very commonly being used, except the real estate, this thing in government contracts. Item rate contracts may be practically 70 to 80% are item rate contracts. And those are wherein some uncertainties are there. You prefer to give a item rate contracts because the engineering may not be 100% complete, the approvals may be awaited, and in case the you want to put a more risk to the contractor side, and you want that the cost more or less should get restricted, the project should come up more on within the reasonable time. It is preferred to give the design and build contracts or lump sum contracts. You are on the very first day itself, you are aware of it, that what will be my total financial implication or total financial cost on the project. The last three, all materials by owner plus labor contracts on per square meter basis, part materials by owner, subcontracts for various trades, all materials by owner plus labor engaged on daily wages. These are commonly being used by the developers or by when they are making their own houses. The reason behind is they want to cover it up, the profits on the materials, they want to keep with them only, and they do not want to pass on to the any subcontractor. This is where I am intending to start my experience on one of the projects. The project brief is, the project was salvaged and completed under the following conditions. The contractor rates are much lower than the estimate. Because you know, in any government or otherwise, when you float a tender, you do the in-house estimates and compare those rates quoted by the contractors or the bidders with your own estimate, and whosoever gets the L1, he gets the contract. So in this case, the contractor rates are much lower than the estimate. There was no escalation provision in the contract. Means you can say all the rates are fixed, and there is no provision that beyond that any material or labor escalations will be payable with under any kind of a formula. So the rates were fixed. The scope of work has reduced more than 25%. The scope, time, cost, and quality are the major parameters for measurement of any kind of a construction contract. But in this case, the scope of work has reduced more than 25%, and the contractor financial position has worsened at 50% work stage. When he has done nearly 50% of the job, his financial position has gone very bad, and they came under the insolvency kind of a situation. So under all these worst kind of scenarios one can think of, the project have been salvaged and completed. That was the big achievement was there. Let me now share the project brief with you. Not for the just from security point of view or from otherwise, I'm not writing the owner's name. The PMC also just a dummy. The scope of the PMC was the project and construction management services from concept to completion. I think everybody is aware of now with what is the project, and from concept to completion, they have to conceive the total project, meeting the client's requirements, and then complete it and hand over the key to the client. This was the responsibility of the PMC, and they were to be paid some percentage of initial estimated cost, awarded cost, or completed cost, whichever is lower. So these were the three parameters, so that at any stage it should not that the PMC exaggerate the cost in the initial estimate cost and all these things, or maybe the contractor awarded cost, or the final completed cost, whichever is lower will be the final fees for the project. Duration was 30 months. It is a project duration, not the construction duration. Please try to understand. They have to do all pre-project activities as well as the construction management as well. The zero date was 1st of July 2012. Total estimated cost was 1.5 billion rupees, means 150 crores. And there were 4 buildings which were scattered within a 3-kilometer area. How the PMC has planned this project, they have divided this project into 2 parts. The pre-project planning activities, including engagement of architect, master plan approval, preparation and approval, 6 months. First 6 months means from 1st of July 2012 to December 2012, the pre-project activities will be done. And first contractor for cutting of existing trees, clearing site by January 2013 with a 3-month duration was kept. Because in that area where the buildings were planned to be done, that was having a lot of old trees. You can say 40, 50 years old trees and jungle of trees were there. So until unless the trees are cleared and all these things, these other civil and other works cannot be started. And the second building contractor for the total scope as a composite work. Composite work means the work will consist of civil, mechanical, electrical, landscaping, everything is totally in their scope. That was planned with the 18 months, and a buffer of project buffer of 3 months was kept, keeping that in case of any eventualities, any delays and all those things are there, so we can manage within the buffer so that any no delays are possible in this case. So under those conditions, the PMC engaged the qualified architect through a pre-qualification tendering process. The stringent pre-conditions were kept in the tender for qualification for engaging the qualified architect, and architect fee was also kept in line with PMC contract as a percentage of the estimated cost of the project, awarded cost, completed cost, whichever is lower, on the similar lines, because the PMC will be paying to the architect. He is paying from his part of the fees. The building plans covering owner requirements were prepared by the architect, reviewed by PMC and approved by the owner. And the master plan and individual building plans were submitted for approval to the local urban development authorities in November 2012. And it was expected that the approval shall be available within next 3 months. So with that intention, by November, these plans were submitted. And the first tender for cutting of existing trees, clearing of site was awarded by December 12. And it was presumed that the site clearing will be completed by March within 3 months. And front for the building contractor shall be available from April 2013 onwards. Further, it was planned that it was a plan that the building contractor will start the job from April onwards, considering nearly 1 month as a mobilization period. It was presumed that the major form, because there was no basement in it. It was all practically ground plus 6 stories, 30-meter height was there. So in those cases, all these foundations, etc., work will be on a faster pace will be done. And at least for few of the buildings will be able to come up the ground before the onset of monsoon in July 13. It was also observed at that time that the time taken by the statutory authorities was more for approving the project plans, particularly as the buildings planned were situated near the existing archaeological structures. 2 buildings out of the 4 were near to the archaeological structures, and as per the building bylaws, any building situated within 300 meters from the existing archaeological structures cannot be permitted, or the height has to be restricted. There are some regulations are there. Though architect has taken those things into consideration, there was you can say, a marginal kind of situations were there. And he said that the approvals may be received from the statutory authorities. As I already shared, the plot were having a variety of special species of well-grown trees, and permission of cutting of trees was partially granted for few trees in January. And the forest department insisting on replantation of nearly 60% of the trees with at least 75% survival. You can imagine this kind of requirements earlier was not used to be there, but the few of the species that were available in the plots, they insisted that we have 60% trees you have not being allowed to cut, you have to replant only. And the survival rate also should not be less than 75%. There were some kind of penalties were involved into it. And you can imagine when the job was being done in January and February, this job was in Delhi, and those were the winter. and the survival rate, and if you replant those trees, is practically negligible. We have to wait till the July, August when the monsoon comes, then only replantation activity is possible. So we have to postpone this activity further to the next July and August of 2030. Considering the above situations, it was decided to prepare the BOQ as per the available building plans, because building plans approval was still awaited. So whatever was plans were made, accordingly the BOQs were made and tenders were floated to pre-qualified parties as a composite building contractor to complete the total works as per the total plan schedule of 18 months. This process has taken around 3 months for preparation of tender, floating of tender, evaluation and award of the job. Finally, the second contract for construction of building project was awarded to the lowest competitive agency, Mason Modern Builders, for a value of 1.28 billion. Just keep a note of it, the estimated cost was 1.50 billion and the awarded value was 1.28 billion. And the construction period was 18 months starting from a zero date of 1st July 2030. Because we wanted to take the advantage of the rainy season, so that the tree cutting contractor will cut those trees and replant those trees in July to September, and we'll be able to hand over the front to the building contractor. And the building contractor award was done deliberately around beginning of July, so that the additional mobilization time he will not be required. He can start the physical works by practically September or so. He can take all these pre-activities during the monsoon, including establishment of batching plant, etc. There was one clause in the contract. This is a general contract, just saying there in the most of the contracts, the clauses are there, but in the it was not a deliberate kind of clause was put. It was a clause in the contract that the variation in quantity of individual items may vary to any extent, and there shall not be any change in rates in case of the contract value varies up to 50% on a lower or higher side. These are the details of the work of the second building contractor, Messrs. Modern Builders. Estimated value of works was 1.5 billion. You can say 150 crores, and the work was awarded in 128 crores, 1.28 billion. That is 15% less than the estimated cost. And the scheduled date of the start of the composite work was 1st July. The time period 18 months. Maximum height of the building was 30 meters. Number of buildings were 4. There was escalation provision was nil. As per the contract, the contractor is supposed to deposit a performance bank guarantee or a performance bond equivalent to 10% of the awarded value after award of the job. This is generally within 15 days, and he has deposited also. And you can see from here, the L2 bidder cost was 1.6 billion. Means the estimated value was 1.5 billion, the L1 was 1.28 billion, and the L2 was 1.6 billion. And at the time of the award of the job, it was a reconfirmation of to the L1 bidder was taken that he has understood the scope and he has quoted in his perfect healthy condition. This reconfirmation was taken before giving the formal work order to him, so that it should not happen that he has understood when the tenders were opened and all this thing, his rate was 1.28 billion and the L2 was 1.6 billion. Very wide gap of nearly 25% was the gap between the L1 and L2. And then he could realize that part of it, his rates are very low. And the liquidated damages for the delay, in case there are delays of the final executed value, will be 10%. It was not on the awarded value, it was on the final executed value. The actual date of the start of the composite was revised because the first tree cutting contractor has taken approximately 2.5 months to replant those trees, etc. And 20th September, the actual handing over of site was done to the composite work. That is means 81 days delay was there in handing over the site, and for which the suitable extension of time was given. In December 2013 and only, the statutory authorities gave their final approval on the building plans. That is after 14 months. Actually, what happened was that they were insisting upon that you bring us the master plan. It was like a campus. It was a very big campus of the Delhi University. And Delhi University, is practically maybe 5 or 6 times bigger than the MIT campus. And the buildings have been built from last 100 years. And they were insisting that you prepare a master plan of the Delhi University. Though in this scope was only 4 buildings were to be done, not with no relation with the earlier buildings, their completions, their plans, etc. So this was one of the reasons for the delay in approval of the building plans by the statutory authorities. And also it was noted while granting their approvals, in one building they said we have to cut 2 floors because it is near to the archaeological buildings, and in another building they have cut 1 floor since it was in the vicinity and radius of archaeological structure. And the owner reviewed their total requirement because the thing is all building plans were made as per the owner requirement. Then owner reviewed their requirements again. They pursued it at the highest level in the ministry, up to the ministry and all these things. But there was of no vein. Means they could not pursue further. They said, let us go ahead. Under these circumstances, the owner and PMC communicated to the contractor as per contract on 15th January 2014 about the reduction in overall scope of the work in line with the approved statutory plans. The contractor was asked to rework the revised BOQ on the basis of approved for construction drawings and likely revised cost with awarded rates in consultation and with duly verification by the PMC. And the final contractor intimated the revised estimated cost as 0.92 billion. You can say the awarded cost was 1.28 billion and the revised estimated cost was 0.92 billion, means less than 25% their scope has reduced. The contractor also intimated to register his claims for the reduction in scope of work, of profit, that is profit has reduced, scope has reduced, claims on extra mobilization of equipment because he said I have mobilized my equipments as per the 1.28 billion work, and now the scope has reduced, machinery and other resources has gone waste as per my original plans. So he registered his claims, etc. also on this account. Then the work progressed smoothly in the initial phase, but got slow from February 2014 onwards due to the financial problem within the building contractor company. The outstanding payment to vendors and labor contractors continued increasing. And the thing is, you can say practically after the 8 months of award of the job, because the company was having so many other jobs. So maybe due to their internal workings and all these things, their financial problem became very bad, and they were not able to make the payments to their vendors as well as the main reason was that the rates for the items to be executed initially and for structural concrete works were comparable with the estimate. Their rates, when we have compared with the estimate, the initial excavation, concrete, shuttering, reinforcement, they were comparable, but their finishing rates and air conditioning work rates were very poor. And as the work progressed, by 31st May 2014, that is after 8.5 months of actual start of the job, the schedule was supposed to be of the according to 1 1.28 billion. Scheduled was 45% was supposed to be done, and their actual progress was only 35%, vis-a-vis to 1.28. The financial position of the contractor got worsened thereafter, and the work came to a complete standstill by 15th of June. You can say generally May, June are very good working period before the monsoon and all this thing. And you can imagine in those days, the labor has reduced. They are not able to make payments to their vendors. Material supplies got affected, and they were totally stopped by 15th of June. And they have a lot of pending payments to their vendors, labor subcontractors, and they complain to PMC as well as to the owner that payments are not being made. Now the challenge is involved. Now the situation has come that the work has completely stopped. The contractor rates are poor. He is not able to make payments to his vendors and labor subcontractors. Financial position is bad. How to go ahead on this? A number of meetings were held with the CEO of the contractor, owner, senior personnel from PMC, and each time contractor promised they intend to complete the job in all respects. They said our intentions are there, by hook or crook we will complete your job. But we need nearly 0.03 to 0.04 billion, means nearly 3 to 4 crores as an additional financial help to maintain their cash flow, to complete the balance works, and to clear their outstanding vendors and labor payments. So you can imagine at that situation, once the reputation of the contractor becomes bad, that he is not able to make payments to the vendors, and so many outstanding payments are there. So nobody is ready to supply further materials to them. The laborers are not ready to work. Who will work without any payments? And when they know already they are having so much of outstanding payments and all this thing, and if I take a new job, I will not be paid at all. Why I will like to get myself stuck up in with this contractor? So considering the present lockdown status of work, the challenges were on the poor financial position of the contractor organization, lot of outstanding payments, 25% reduction in total scope of work, reduction in BOQ quantities, and poor rates. So because at that time, most of the structural works were practically completed, and there were poor rates of the finishing works. And now finishing works, you know that the people have to make payments by cash. Any order you place, you have to make maybe 10 to 15% advance payments, and then you need the money. So at that time, there were few alternatives which were worked out, and as per the terms of the contract, first of the alternative was to terminate, because this is the first part of the any contract is there. If contractor is not able to perform as per the terms of the contract, after giving sufficient notices to the contractor, you can terminate the contract by citing reasons. In this case, delay in the work, stoppage of work without assigning any issue, non-payment to vendors, laborers, etc. So this was the first alternative available with PMC and the owner were to terminate their contract. Second part of this thing is there, let us not terminate the contract, let us reduce its further scope of finishing and supplement the existing contractor with another contractor for part scope of work to enhance the progress of work by following due process of notices as per the terms of the contract. And any additional cost thus incurred shall be at the risk and cost of the main contractor and to be debited to them. So this is the another alternative is there. Yes, let us not terminate this contract, but let us supplement with the another building contractor for finishings, etc. Maybe you can call it as small contractors, 1, 2, 3 number of them, and then get the job done at the risk and cost of the main contractor. The third alternative in this thing was thought of was owner to support modern builders with an additional financial assistance, to give a additional some financial advance to them with a standard bank principal lending rate. There is generally a PLR rates are there, which are being published by State Bank of India, which was around today also around 13.5%, and plus 2% as administration charges, with against a suitable bank guarantee, and the interest to be charged for the period. The interest will be around 15.5% against a suitable bank guarantee, because you have to take a bank guarantee from the contractor in case then also it doesn't proceed with the work, and also at least you have got the money. So this would have been an extra contractual financial assistance to the contractor and to be recovered proportionally in each RA bill. The next fourth alternative was thought of was that honor to support modern builders the cash by encashment and resubmission of performance bank guarantees. Difference between existing and revised performance bank guarantees was 1 point, because he has, as per the initial contract of the value 1.28 billion, 10% was the performance bank guarantee. So means 0.128 billion was this thing. Performance bank guarantee, and now the revised cost as per the reduction in scope has come to 0.92 billion, so 10% of that. So means difference is 0.36 billion, and 10% of it is 0.036, means nearly 3.6 crores. Amount to be retained with PMC to ensure completion of work in total and to give assurance to the contractors, vendors, labor, etc., to cover up the outstanding payments at present and in future for any shortfall. The amount to be released to vendors and labor contractors on the recommendation of the main contractor by PMC progressively and judicious. Because the thing is, if that money is not to be given to the contractor, the difference between the performance bank guarantee, which he has submitted for initially for 10% of 1.28 billion, and otherwise, finally, we are looking for the performance bank guarantee as 0.92 billion only. So the difference of that the amount will be retained by PMC, and it will be given time to time on the recommendation of the main contractor. Yes, this vendor may be paid this much amount, this thing. Any labor contractors and all this amount may be paid to them. Because finally, he has engaged those vendors. He has engaged those labor subcontractors. PMC or owner doesn't have any linkages with them. So any payment is to released to them has to be on the recommendation of the main contractor only. So finally, after the issued number of notices, including termination of contract, is getting the job done at their risk and cost as per contract provisions, and after detailed deliberations and in the interest of the job, the alternate formula 4 was worked out with the owner, PMC and contractor in July 2014. And accordingly, the change order was issued with the following salient features. Revised estimated cost is 0.92 billion. Work done till 15th of July 2014 was 0.50 billion. Extended date of completion considering initial date of handing over plus scheduled period, because 81 days initial delay was there for handing over the site. Now the revised date was 19th of March 2015. Balance work to be completed is 0.42 billion only. And encashment of original bank guarantee and then reduction to this thing was granted. The differential amount of 0.036 billion in cash was retained with PMC for judicious financial help to be extended to the contractor time to time. And contractor shall remobilize within 10 days. The thing is, as I already shared, the work was stopped on 15th of June and all this thing. And this agreement has taken practically 1 month to work it out, the solutions, the approvals and all those things, because PMC also has to take approval from their senior management. And to take honor also into confidence, a number of meetings were had. And he has submitted the revised bank guarantees and all those things. All this process has taken nearly a month. And he was to remobilize within 10 days. and the building-wise schedule of completion of all 4 buildings to be worked out and agreed upon with the total completion and handing over by 19th March. Means the rescheduling of the all the 4 buildings are to be done, and the total work has to be completed by 19th of March 2015, and contractor shall withdraw all his claims and shall be considered totally invalid. All other terms and conditions of the contract shall remain the same. During this period, the contractor was put under CDR. Now the work has started, and the financial conditions of the contractor has gone further bad, and it is known as the corporate debt restructuring by their bankers, because they have taken loans for various of their projects and all these things, and they are not able to return the interest as well as the capital. So practically the company was taken over by the bankers. Whichever jobs were profit oriented and all these things, they said you can continue those jobs wherein at least some profit is coming. But in this job, it was a loss making job, though the financial positions are further bad. And under this financial constraint and problem with the organization, contractor extended all cooperation and remobilized his vendors, subcontractors in right earnest. The thing is, we have also, as a PMC and the owner, have to call their bankers also and show them, yes, main thing is in this is a national project of importance, and being a government organizations and all this thing, please be rest assured of it. Whatever jobs are done, we'll see that how expeditiously we will make the running account bill payments to the contractor to see that our jobs are completed. Part outstanding payments were released by the contractor to their vendors and labor subcontractors to build up their confidence. Yes, we are starting the job. Unless you release their outstanding payments and all, nobody will come. And this gave a big message within the various subcontractors, vendors, etc. Yes, the project has restarted. Now the problem of their financial has improved, and the PMC and the contractor jointly called all their vendors and subcontractors and addressed them about the new alternative worked out. And it was assured to them that they will extend all support to complete the work, and their regular payments and outstanding dues, if any, shall be secured. Don't worry at all. You are working with a government organization. If the contractor will not pay, we'll see that you will get payment from us. And the payment shall be made to them on the recommendations of the main contractor to cover up any shortfall if applicable. With this kind of working out the solutions, giving assurance to their vendors, contractors, labor contractors, the contractor was able to hand over the 2 buildings. Out of 4, he could complete the 2 buildings by 19th of March, and that is the extended completion date. And other 2 buildings, part of the works got delayed until 31st August. And the final executed contract value was 0.88 billion in place of 0.92 billion, which was estimated. The contract was satisfactorily closed with the liquid damages of 0.088 billion, that is equivalent to 10% of the final executed value of the contract, delayed more than 4 months for the reasons totally attributable to the contractor. You can see from this that the total work, which was estimated as 1.5 billion, awarded at 1.28 billion. The revised scope was 0.92 billion, and final closed value was 0.88 billion. Was the final awarded contract value, and it was satisfactorily completed, and the even a penalty of 0.088 billion also was to be levied to the contractor. You cannot help it because the contract conditions cannot be changed. These are the few questions and answers I have. From this only I have developed it. First question is discuss the pros and cons of different alternatives available to the owner during the stage when the work got totally standstill due to the poor financial position of the contract. These alternatives I have already shared with you during the basic presentation on this thing. Alternative one was first was on the termination of the contract after following the total process of notices. Generally, if any contract is to be terminated, it takes the notices periods and all this in 3-4 notices are to be given depending upon the type of the contract of nearly each 15 days or 21 days. Then only you can terminate the contract. You cannot terminate, yes, tomorrow will not come. It's not that kind of scenarios. You have to follow the proper process, language, contractual language, reasoning, so that it should not bounce back to you. Alternate two also, the supplementing of existing contractor to get the job done partially at his risk and cost. Owner to support with the additional financial assistance. PLR plus 2% administration charges, and the difference in the bank guarantees amount. So these were the 4 alternatives. Now comes what were the pros of the advantage of each alternative to the alternate 4 which was done. The owner PMC interest was to complete, because in any situation the owner intention is my project should be completed by hook or crook within the scheduled time, cost, quality, and that is their intention, and no such kind of any litigations or any kind of problems are there of that account. So then the alternative one is if you terminate the contract, there is due to the reduction in scope due to statutory approvals was beyond the control of the owner. Alternate one to work this thing, owner PMC has every right to take action as per the building contractor for non-compliance of the terms and conditions of the contract. He can always, these are the reasons are given in the general conditions of the contract, under what conditions you can terminate his contract. This is also as per the general conditions of the contract that PMC can follow the process of termination of the contract or getting the part job done by issuing sufficient notices with certain durations to the contractor and giving a chance to reply to the notices explaining his position. The owner may accept or reject the replies as per the terms of the contract, and the owner can even get the job done at the contractor risk and cost by engaging another contractor for the part or full balance work. So these are all provisions as per this thing. It was free to do it. Alternative 3 to alternate 4, this could have been a good initiative by the owner to salvage the project, that to additionally finance the project. However, the owner rejected the proposal in this case with the statement that they cannot finance the project, because they said we are not here to finance the project. The contractor has to spend the money and take the money from us. We are ready to pay as per the terms of the contract. We are not here to finance the contractor. His financial position has gone bad and we give him advances. The owner would have been an advantage of getting better return of the project amount available with them, because the amount was available with them, or even if they have taken from any loan from any institutions, etc., they are getting it maybe at 9-10%, and they were going to charge at 15.5%. Means some additional interest they would have earned from that by giving an additional advance, and they would have recovered that amount from their RA bill, and it was a totally secured amount, because you are taking against giving it them on against a bank guarantee, and you are charging the interest also. And alternate four, the owner has not to put any additional money from their resource or any specific approval. They have not to go to anybody within their organization to take any approvals, because those were the government organizations, and any kind of revised in cost or revision in rates or any kind of financial help, they have also to go to their board of directors or to their management part of it to get any kind of specific approval. And when the additional amount was available with the owner in the performance bond due to reduction in scope, and otherwise to be returned to the contractor on completion of work. Otherwise, also the additional amount has to be returned to him. What is the difference between the awarded cost and the final executed cost? The contractor also not to bear any interest, because if he owner gives him the additional money, then he has to give the bank guarantee also. He has to bear the interest also, and 15.5% is not a small interest. And the present poor financial conditions of the company, giving such additional bank guarantees was also not that easy for the contractor. What are the drawbacks of the above alternatives? Alter 1 and 2. Owner shall lose time by following the termination process, means you have to take 2 months process and all the work, and in case they have to engage another contractor, it will take another 2 or 3 months, because they have to follow the process of proper tender, estimating it, floating tenders, and that process has to be followed. And addition, knowing fully well that the contractor rates were 15% lower than the estimate at the time of the award, and the revised rates shall be around 40 to 50% higher than existing rates for the balance work of 0.42 billion. Recovery of additional full amount from the existing contractor may not be feasible for the performance required while placing order to the new agency, because already when we have awarded the job in sometimes July 2013, the 15% rates were less. And after practically 1 year, when we are taking this revised, the floating the tender for the balance works and all this thing, anybody will take the rates additional for the 1 year increase, the balance for construction period, and the 15% which were lower. So that would have positively 40 to 50% higher than the for the 0.42 billion work. It shall be difficult to get a response from good contractors also, because when they know this is a disturbed project and the contractor may not hand over the site, or any kind of such contractual problems are there of the previous contractor, so big, good contractors will not come to court for this kind of a job. And when there are such kind of issues are there, one contractor job have been terminated, another job have been awarded, and all this thing, and new contractor will come, he will try to raise some kind of issues on the quality aspects of it, defects of the earlier works, and then problem comes how to complete it, all those things. He will ask anything, everything extras over it, and the defect liability period will be really a problem to handle in such situations. Contractor may go for legal action and take a stay from the court, which may jeopardize your total project. The contractor also, the thing is just for the sake of it, let me take the legal action, and you may take a stay, and your total project will remain as a monuments only half done job, and it may take 1 year, 2 years to settle those court case and all those things. And also likely that the additional amount available after termination of contract may not be sufficient to complete the balance works, and to cover up the same, owner may have to take another approval for the additional amount to the competent authorities. And if we see alternative 3, wherein we have planned that owner may give some additional money to the contractor against a bank guarantee with interest, the bankers may not agree to support the same, knowing fully well that the project is in a heavy loss to the company's financial positions was bad, and there is no guarantee available to the banker from the contractor to support this proposal. And in addition, owner was also had to take appropriate approval from this section. So the thing is, it was not that is kind of easy scenario. Next question is, discuss the reasons of failure of the main building contractor, why he has failed. First and foremost is that the rate quoted by them for the total initial scope of work were not commensurate with the market situations and prices. The difference between the estimated cost and the quoted cost was 0.22 billion. This in a 150 crore job, 22 crores was the difference between the estimated cost and the quoted cost. It was around 15% less, and L1 and L2 difference was 0.32 billion. Further was the rates quoted by the contractor were not uniform. As per the general conditions of the contract, it is mentioned there that contractor had to quote a very balanced kind of contract. Uniform this thing, quantities can vary. This thing is also mentioned in the contract. For every item of work, they were expected to quote uniform and balanced rates. Tender rates quoted were front-loaded. Front-loaded means the initial items which will be executed by the contractor, he will have a little better rates and better profit margins, so that his cash flow remains comfortable. So in this case, the initial tender rates were front-loaded, and that's why he could prolong his excavation and the structural work in a comfortable positions, and his finishing and air conditioning rates were very poor. The tender was not professionally quoted after going through the proper terms and conditions of the contract, like no escalation, no variation in rates allowed. Next question, last question is, discuss the role of PMC with your assessment and review. PMC role was basically to manage the, because when a traditional contracts, the owner, PMC, and one contractor or number of contractors, the PMC role is practically on behalf of the owner to give them technical and all kind of assistance in planning and implementation of the project. And in this, PMC was to plan, supervise, monitor project for its timely completion with quality and with a defined cost. PMC to keep watch on contractor performance, apprise owner time to time for suitable actions as per the terms of the contract. This was also followed and they have done it. The total project planning was done professionally and it was balanced with a buffer of 3 months and 10% of the total project duration to take care of any unforeseen kind of a delay. The forest department initially in the first contract insisted for replantation of 60% trees in January month with stringent survival rate of 75%. The possibility of achieving replantation of 75% survival rate was not feasible in the winter and further period of summer till July. And delay on this account was beyond the control of the PMC, and this was the insistence by the statutory authorities. And there was a delay by the statutory authorities in granting building plans approval, which was beyond their control and have taken abnormal time in approval for 14 months. And PMC has taken immediate corrective measures and actions as per contract to issue notices to the contractor for the revised scope. And it is appreciable that the PMC has been able to complete the job and hand over to the owner satisfactorily within the assessed cost, despite big constraints of delay in approval by statutory authorities, reduction in scope, and even the reduction in PMC fee. You can imagine the principally, as per the estimate, was 1.5 billion, and the PMC fees was X percentage. And now, with all kind of efforts they have done, they have to overstay up to the 31st August, means nearly 8 months. They have to overstay also. So much of involvements of the senior management from PMC. and their fees has practically reduced to half. And that also is the big saving for the owner. And this is the key takeaways for this experience. Project management is to show concern for client from beginning to end. Because in this case, you can say is the Karamdata, the payment master, everything is your client. And you have to see that you always work in the interest of the client and at any stage of the project. Second, the takeaway is the project management is to carry along all your stakeholders, whosoever your stakeholders are there. In this case, you have seen that contractors, their subcontractors, vendors, labor contractors, everybody was involved to see that the project is done by hook or crook. And next is the project management is to continuously follow up statutory authorities for approvals. You have seen in this case, despite all these follow-ups and all these things, there were abnormal delays, and this was beyond the control of the PMC or even the owner. Project management is to quote fair price and add value to the project. Every owner is looking for that when I am engaging a PMC or a good contractor and all this thing, he should not charge a much abnormal fees from me or the charges, and he should add value to this thing. He should, what I am anticipating, he should give a little better what I am anticipating in the project. And last is the project management is to honor time as an essence of the contract in all circumstances. The time is money, and you have to see that you get the project completed. Thank you very much. Yes, now I'm open to any kind of questions from the audience. Yes, friends.
Question time, folks. Please start asking your questions to Professor Tandon. Thank you, sir, for a wonderful session.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sir, what do you think is the reason for such long time taken for approvals by authorities?
The thing is, actually, this was the project in Delhi University, and Delhi University, you know, is one of the oldest universities, maybe in India. It's practically 100 years old university, and they wanted that our role was to prepare the plans for these 4 buildings. They said you prepare first the master plan of Delhi University. Delhi University is, you can say, nearly having more than 100 buildings. That is not my, I have been engaged as a PMC for this, and even the Vice Chancellor Delhi University, they also pursued and all this thing. We are looking for these 4 buildings. We cannot have the master plan of the Delhi University, that you can ask separately. There's a lot of persuasions and all this thing at the highest level, even up to the ministry level, persuasions were done, but of no avail. I hope this is clear.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I would just like to share my experience in this as well. So in projects in Nagpur and Lucknow specifically, the approvals have been taking more than 1 year, and even in some cases up to 2 years.
Right.
Now, the major reason was because there are almost 50 to 60 approvals to be taken specifically in the state.
Right.
The solution proposed by the government was a single window clearances, especially for the new projects and the township projects.
Right.
But the builders are actually start taking advantage of such a single window clearances, and they start hiding the facts, and they manipulate the documents to actually get the single window clearance. So, sir, do you think single window clearance is the answer for future? And if not, what could be the way we progress with this?
Yes, my friend, the single window is the real answer for it. You may be aware that one of the conditions they have mentioned in the single window, that whosoever architect is submitting the plans, and if those plans are approved and violated subsequently, the license of the architect also will be cancelled. leave aside the developers, his project may also go into the stoppage and go to the dogs, I will say. But the main thing is the architect license also will be cancelled, and such kind of panel actions are absolutely necessary so that people don't take advantage of it. You may be aware that earlier used to be that the submission plans used to be separate, the execution plans used to be different. And number of buildings in Delhi, Noida, and Gurgaon are held up due to this. They have done major changes in the plans subsequently, and now the works are standing still from last maybe 8 to 10 years. And many cases have gone to the courts as well. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Any other question?
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, Garima.
So how does the owner respond to the changes due to restrictions, including sanctuary laws?
The sanctuary laws or the archaeology. The
Sir,
thing
any
is,
laws that will lead to a change in the original planning that was proposed.
then they have to rework their requirements. They have to rework their requirements, yes, because everybody, when he works out the requirements, he keeps a margin. Like, when we have done the design in our college days and all these things, we are keeping all margins at various stages in the loading and well calculating the strength, the bending moment, every place we are keeping some kind of design margins, we are keeping it. Similarly, when they are finalizing their requirements also, they are keeping margins maybe for 10 years, 15 years and all these things. Then when such changes happen, they have to rework their requirements. Yes, at least the present, maybe for next 3 years is okay. Subsequently, we'll see some, at a later stage. Now, let us proceed with the sanctioned amount and all. So this is the way how the owner has to take a decision. I hope Garima is clear.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Sir,
Hello.
just one more question. Sir, in the light of the case that we discussed, that the financial condition of the contractor worsened in just a period of almost less than 1 year. So, do you
Yes.
think that the due diligence becomes a very critical factor for a contractor? And apart from being an L1 person, we should always check whether he can sustain for the period of the contract or not. Like in this case, it did not happen.
Let me share with you, actually, the same contractor has done one job with us earlier and has completed satisfactorily. Another job was also around 50% stage when this tender was floated and all, and his performance was very satisfactory. In this case, actually, where we have gone into much more details, actually, they engaged a very senior vice president, a new person was engaged for quoting for this tender, and of his own, he has been given the authority to quote for the job, and he has quoted 15% less. Maybe to show to the management, yes, I have brought this job to you. So many times this happens. The new person join and all this thing, they underquote the job to show to their management their efficiencies and all those things, and later on the management is in a real trouble. And there were big escalations in the market, in the materials and the thing. And as per CPWD, we generally take 15% as overhead and profit as 15% for the contractor. And in this case, if 15% is less quoted, you can imagine there is no margin at all in his overall rates, and he has to do the job for 1.5 years also. He has to bear all kinds of escalations in the market and in the labor rates. How he will perform? And because it is a e-tender and competent, he was technically all competent. He has done 300 crore job also with us and fully competent. But the further now in this job, because as I shared with you, their senior vice president, a new person was joined and all this thing, he has practically forgot of the total project. I hope it is clear.
Right, sir. Thank you. Yes.
Yes. Any other question?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
question. As per this case, like by the value was 1.5 billion.
Yes.
It was 5.8 billion. Why was that overestimated?
I'm not able, your voice is breaking. I'm not able to listen to your question again. Can you repeat it?
So actually, the estimated value per PMC work was 1.5 billion.
Right.
And it was about 1.2 billion.
Right.
Why was they overestimate there by the PMC?
There was not an overestimate by the PMC. This was underquoted by L1 contractor. You see, the L2 was 1.6 billion. 1.6 billion was
still contractor. Okay, sir. But the L1 contractor was able to complete within the awarded amount.
The thing is, this was one of the reasons that his contract rates were so poor. He was not able to prolong the rates. And whenever he wanted to engage any subcontractor, the subcontractor was asking more rate than what he has quoted with the PMC and the owner. So that was a big problem for him, how to award a subcontract.
Okay.
I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, any other question?